You're listening to the Yin and Yang Show, a marketing and sales conversation with Lindsay Kelly and Brian Signorelli. Strategic and tactical advice about inbound sales and marketing.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Yin and Yang Show. It's Lindsay here with you. Again, I still don't have my friend Brian Signorelli. He is somewhere in Asia, I don't know where. But I am so lucky this week that I have happened upon a friend here named David Fletcher of Maven Sales Group. And he's going to chat with us today and tell us a little bit about some sales challenges that some of our Hub partner friends and HubSpot friends have. And welcome to the show, David.
Well, Lindsay, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be on the show. So
you
just
got thrown under the bus there too. I just kind of was like, "Hey, you want to be on this podcast with me?"
Yes, I definitely was not prepared for that, but that's okay. This is what we do, right?
That's right.
We can do it at the drop of a hat. So yeah. So again, David Fletcher, thanks for the introduction. And I'm the founder and CEO of Maven Sales Group. And what we do here at Maven is really work on solving the lead generation problem. We're committed to learning more about a company's sales process, their marketing infrastructure, their marketing strategy, and how they align. And when they don't align, how do we go about identifying where it's breaking down? And for us, a part of that tends to fall under sales. And that's what excites us because that's what we focus on. We focus on solving those sales problems. And that's how we got involved with HubSpot as a HubSpot sales solutions partner. Obviously, we do a lot of work with Brian as well and with Sam Belt. So great group of characters over there to help us and support us. And when we don't have a sales problem with our clients, we tend to be focused more on a marketing type problem, and we can tie that to a strategy or a process, sometimes people, unfortunately, but that's where we start to partner with other agencies, other HubSpot partner agencies, and we go about tackling and solving those problems together. And in the end, the client has two great HubSpot partners coming in to solve a very important problem that needs to be solved. And it's amazing how many companies out there today have these problems. Unfortunately, sometimes they don't recognize it until it's too late. But there are a lot that realize, hey, we've got to do something different. Status quo is no longer viable. And that's where we are excited to come in.
That's exciting. And so I'm glad that you started talking about challenges and problems. One of the things we really like to do on the show is explore what those are. We like to give our listeners kind of some great takeaways on what they can do on their own sometimes, and oftentimes, with the help of some of our guests. Sure. What they can do to kind of fix some of these problems. So can we start by exploring, like, what is one of the top problems that you do find when you come in to work with some of these folks?
I tell you, one of the biggest problems that we find, and this has led to our biggest service offering, is the inability to take an inbound lead and nurture it, work it, and get it sales ready. Too often that sales team says, hey, we've got this inbound lead that comes in and they want to have a sales conversation, and that prospect's just not ready for that. And something has to happen before they are sales ready. And typically what we do, we provide an SDR service. So we have a team of SDRs that will work inbound leads. So a lot of companies are fortunate enough they get hundreds and hundreds of inbound leads per month. Well, basically what happens is the sales team will cherry pick the ones they think are the right ones, and that doesn't work. And they spend time working on an inbound lead that's not really qualified. The SDR that sits there in between the marketing and the sales team will work those leads, have those conversations, start to develop that relationship. Obviously, some of them are hot and they are ready. Well, they get passed off pretty quick. But there's other ones that might require 3, 4, 5 touches. Those conversations begin to build that relationship, and they get nurtured the right way with the right content. And helping marketing get the right content to that buyer in the right stage of the buyer's journey for them so that they do get nurtured and then they are ready to go on to sales. And so for us, that's a huge opportunity. We get to do that all the time. I mean, when you look at our client base, most of our clients hire us for our SDR strategy. And because we have a process, it's built, and we're able to come in and place it right in between the sales and marketing teams and begin solving that problem from day one. And that's a huge problem because, on the marketing side, and this coming from marketing, you work so hard to get these inbound leads. then when they come in, they need to be worked. They need to be taken care of. They're not ready to just get handed off to sales, right? And so we found a really nice niche right there. And that's one of the biggest issues that we're able to address.
And I think that's one of the biggest issues that we've found, even with some of our clients, and I'm sure that other agencies across the board found. As marketers, we work with the CEO and the VP of sales and the marketing folks to say, well, what is your goal? What do you want to get to? And then, let's find the problems and the challenges and build this content, whether it's video, blogs, web pages, whatever it might be. And, we're able to attract folks to the website, get them curious, get them interested, have them researching and learning. And then sometimes what happens is that lead then goes to a sales rep who will try to call them and just close them. And
Right.
there's no kind of, there's that gray middle ground where the rep is supposed to go in and, do some work looking through the contact record, find out what they're looking at, do a little bit more nurturing, share some more articles. But, it's hard as a sales rep to dedicate and focus on that because you're just trying to make your number. And they, I think, sometimes believe that here's an inbound lead and it's supposed to be ready to go. So what you guys do is you can insert yourselves in the middle of that to get them to the point where then the sales reps can just go in and go, okay, let's sign the paperwork.
Right. That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
That's a pretty interesting.
And right. And obviously marketing loves it because their inbound leads are getting taken care of, and sales loves it because now they only focus on the leads that are ready.
Right.
Right. And the second part to that program that's really exciting to a lot of the other agency partners is you come in and you sell your clients on the idea of inbound marketing. Inbound marketing doesn't generate leads tomorrow, right? It's going to generate leads, but it takes time.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
That's right. Exactly. So we're able to help for the companies that are looking for a little bit quicker return. Okay, well, let's do a little bit of outbound effort in conjunction with that inbound work that we're doing. So that content that we're creating for the inbound side, we can use some of that content and build that into a sequence and have a campaign that we know, hey, we've got a target market. These are the companies in that target. These are the right personas. Let's go after them. And we can go after them with that outbound strategy. And sometimes, guess what? They turn into an inbound lead. Right?
Yeah.
Our SDR might not actually connect and get on the phone with them, but we provoked enough that they go to the website. Next thing you know, they're filling out a form and they're in the system, right? So we still get them, but what we're doing is we're kind of going out there and provoking the market a little bit to try to get them to pay more attention faster than we would be organically. And so that's another benefit to our program.
And so I love that you brought up sequences. We've had Rachel Plummer from HubSpot come on before to talk through sequences with us, and it's quite an interesting concept for some of the sales reps because it is not your traditional marketing campaign, whether it's a drip campaign or some people call them email blasts still. But what it really is it's a one-to-one. So you build it in the HubSpot sales side. Chock full of great content that's relevant to each stage of the journey. And then you're able to execute that directly from your Outlook where you can say, there's now a sequence tab. You start a new email, you hit sequence, and all of your email sequences have been built on the back end of HubSpot, oftentimes by your marketing team.
That's
and
right.
because it's easier for the marketers because they know, they know the sales process as a sales rep is going through it, and then they know what kind of content they've created for it. So now the sales rep has this almost plug and play sequence ready to go where they can just make minor adjustments right there inside of a pop-up window. So if it's going to Mary, because you have to have one recipient, this is one-to-one, this is not a big email blast, it's a one-to-one, just like it's coming out of your Outlook box, which is what's magical because it doesn't come through as a marketing email that could go into spam. It's a legitimate email that comes from your email, your email service provider, your email exchange. And I love that because then they can go in and they can make tweaks to it and they can change it. So if they already know these people, they can say, hey, Mary, I hope that birthday party went really well for your son this weekend. I was thinking over the weekend about blah, 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 and the problem that we talked about. And so it's like it's built out as a template. So do your guys use that a lot?
Absolutely. That's what I was going to tell you. So you just nailed the most important part of sequences is that customization And I love that HubSpot built that in. If you click to add someone to a sequence, it tells you right away you should customize the sequence. And if you don't, here are the consequences of not customizing it, right? Which is great because we need to do that. Each one should be personalized. Now, it may not be, if there's a 5 emails in that sequence, it may not be that we're going to customize all 5, but we do have our personalization tokens in there. But more importantly, that first email, we always reference something personal in that first email so that they know that, you're not getting a one of many. You're getting a one-to-one email. And additionally, we like to go to LinkedIn. We looked at their LinkedIn profile. Where can we connect? What do we have in common? What can I use to help personalize one of those emails if I haven't actually had a conversation with them yet? So there are different things that we do as sales professionals on that SDR side to make sure we can personalize that so that it's not just we call them spam campaigns, right? A spam campaign isn't going to generate the relationships and the leads that we're looking for. We have to be able to connect on some level other than we have a service and you might have a need, right? And that's not consistent. That's not going to help grow anybody's business. So we're very focused on that. And that's why I love using the sequences. And we've used other tools. We've worked with some of the other providers. We've used some of the other tools. We found ourselves, we kept coming back to HubSpot. And you only have to do that 2 or 3 times to realize HubSpot's the right tool. And they're very committed on growing and perfecting that tool. And for us, our business is built around HubSpot. And so it's very important that they're committed to it. They're committed to us and our success, and it works. And that's just one example of how they're making us better and making our service offering better to help our clients grow.
Yeah. And I love that you brought up also the LinkedIn aspect of this, because one of the things that I wasn't aware of when I first started using sequences myself was that I could add specific tasks into the sequence and be reminded inside of the HubSpot CRM every day what I need to do. So you can literally start it with, connect with this person on LinkedIn. So you're already on their profile. You've, sent a personal connection request. Hey, I see we both went to, NYU. Or we have shared connections. I get those all the time. Sure. And, then follow up 2 days later with a phone call. And then if still nothing happens, then the email trigger is going out. But it's a nice, neat, easy, organized way for sales reps to keep in touch with what's going on with all these people too. Do your folks go in and follow those tasks, and how does that work for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So the tasks that are set up within sequences, and as we were just talking about social selling with LinkedIn is one of our tasks, and that typically happens after the first call. So there's a first email and a first call. Then there's the LinkedIn request, and that's one of our tasks. We put that in there so that it doesn't get lost. And what I love about it is when those tasks show up, now we can work right out of our task queue, right? Because that's what our SDR team does. We've got our sequences built for everyone that's on our list that we're going after, and we can literally live in our task queue and be able to work right through it. And we know what lead group we're on. We know what step of the sequence that they're in. And it's very effective. And for us, it is a little bit mathematical. We have to calculate it because we have so many lead groups at one time that we're working. We have to be careful that, we don't have to make 200 calls in a day because that's not realistic.
Right.
Right. So there's a little bit of math behind it, but we're able to do that and make sure that we're following best practices because, we've A/B tested that. And what I mean by that is LinkedIn, using that as our example, we've tested reaching out on LinkedIn after the first call. And we've tested reaching out on LinkedIn after the second email and second call.
Oh.
We have found right now more success after the first call and first email.
Really?
After that, yes. Because here's what's happened. We have been able to get a straight connection on a call earlier by connecting on LinkedIn earlier.
So wait, so you connect on LinkedIn first and then make the call, or you make the call and then connect on LinkedIn?
We make our first call, then we send our follow-up email.
Okay.
And then 2 days later, we do the LinkedIn request. 2 days, it's actually 3 days. After that, on that next call, our connection rate has gone up.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
And I have to believe that it's a direct result of that LinkedIn connection, because now it's like, okay, I'm putting a face with a name. I can look at their profile. I have an idea why they might be calling me. I can either take that call because I have an idea of why they're calling me, or I can not take that call, right? But typically, we have found our connection rates are going up right now because of that. We actually are trying another technique right now that I would love to share with you and your listeners.
Yeah, please.
It worked really well for a client that we both know and have in common. One of the things we're doing for them is we're doing a video on the first outreach.
I've heard this.
Yes, and the open rates are phenomenal. We're getting opens, we're getting click-throughs, and the SDR then follows up with a phone call, and it's almost 100% connection on that phone call.
So what is the video? What is the video?
Well, so without getting into too much of the strategy, what we're doing is, they're looking to provide an SEO solution and a potentially new website and tie that into their marketing strategy. But we are doing some Google searches for those particular companies, for their technology in that area. And once we see that they're not ranked very high, we then record a video showing them the rankings that, hey, we went into Google, we ran a search for companies like yours in your area, and you're not coming up. And take a look here. Here's all your competitors. And then we start naming competitors, and that resonates. Right. And then we put that in an email, that video in the email. We use Vidyard, great tool, love it, very powerful, and it integrates with HubSpot.
Okay.
So we then send that, and we're finding they get opened like almost immediately. We had one last week that we were actually laughing about it because we were all watching the opens and everything. It got open and passed around. They must have had multiple offices because this was in California. It ended up getting open 13 times in 7 different cities in California.
Wow.
So that was all in one day, and probably within 4-hour window. So that video obviously
amazing.
And made traction.
Yeah.
So that was last Thursday. Monday of this week, our SDR had a conversation with that CEO.
Wow.
So it definitely is working. And we played with that. That was another thing that, oddly enough, we A/B tested. Yeah. We originally tried first. Then we were saying, okay, well, let's try to do that second. And we did that internally for ourselves before we did it for our clients. And we were at Inbound. And we had a conversation with Vidyard at Inbound, who we know very well. And they were like, no, try going back to the first, because we've done all this testing. We have all the data. Send that first in your sequence, and it will make a huge difference. So we said, okay. And then we have a client we're going to try it on, and we tried it, and it's working very, very well. So the power of video, it does exist. And I do tell you, if you're in sales and marketing and you're sending messages, I just sent a follow-up video this morning to follow up from a post-proposal presentation. And we did it, my marketing director and I, we sent the video together, and that's our follow-up. Instead of sending an email or making a phone call, we just put together a quick video. It was a minute and 15 seconds and sent it off. And it's already been open twice. So looking forward to the response.
And with Vidyard, is it an easy process to record? Is there editing involved for a rep, or
no, you don't.
Super easy?
See, that's what they've done a great job of. They've made it simple, because sales reps that are in a hurry, they don't want to take the time to do that. And so it's really easy. It's literally a matter of, you click the button. They have a plugin for Chrome. You click the button, it opens it up, and it says ready to record, and you click the button to start recording. You have the option of recording just your screen with you down in the corner, just a tab out of all your windows that are open. So you've got those options. You select them, it starts recording, you stop it, it saves it, says here it is, and then you boom, send it. So yeah.
That's awesome.
And you don't, so I have an SDR that will on average send 25 to 30 a day.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and so it's very effective. I mean, he still has to go. He has to do that research on Google. He has to pull that up to make sure it fits, and then do the recording. And then, we have a template in Sequences already built out, and then he just plugs that screenshot in with the link and sends it.
And so right now there's a bunch of sales reps out there scratching their heads going, why would I spend all the time to do that? And I think my answer to that would be, and I'm sure you have one as well, would you rather sit there and make 100 cold calls and maybe get one meeting, Or would you rather spend 20 minutes crafting something high quality that actually gets somebody's attention and probably land 3 meetings in a day?
That's right. Exactly. And in addition to that, you begin to develop that relationship, right? And there's been a lot of talk about AI and so forth, but at the end of the day, people want to buy from people. You have to be a person. You have to have a relationship in place. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not the old school relationship. We don't have to take everyone out for dinner and drinks and, be best friends so that you buy from me. But I have to be a person. You have to at least know me and understand me and trust me that I can bring some value to buy from me. And doing video is a great way to do it. You immediately start that relationship as opposed to listening to a voicemail, one of many that you have received. Now all of a sudden you get a video, and yes, that's still a salesperson, but you start that relationship because you can see them. So that also has a huge impact in our success.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Amazing. Definitely something different that, that reps probably don't think of every day. Think outside the box, do something different and capture attention, right?
That's right. Exactly.
Very good. Well, are there any other areas of the business that maybe we didn't cover? Any other successes that you would like to share?
I tell you, some of the stuff that we've been doing lately in terms of helping our clients has really been focused around following a sequence and using the best practices and making sure that we're calling on the day that we know we should call and really being committed to that. I mean, you have to follow that structure, and it is different for every industry. But one of the things that we try to instill in all of our clients, because a lot of times the sales reps want to jump in and start doing what we're doing and use our sequence because they see the success. And we always tell them, you can definitely do this, but if you're supposed to make the call the day after you send the email, if you call 3 days later, it doesn't have the same impact.
Right.
Right. And that's that. I'm finding that is a learning curve for the market. There are companies out there that have done a lot of research to help us understand what that looks like in terms of the best practices. Well, let's take advantage of that. We don't need to lose money because we're not following it. There's a company that just spent a lot of money trying to figure it out for us. Let's take advantage of it. Right. And so that's one of the things that I try to get our customers to understand that, hey, if you want to get involved and you want to start to follow this process, you have to follow the process. You have to be disciplined and committed to this process. Don't tell me, oh, I only make calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I only block out an hour here, right? There are certain times of the day we need to be calling, certain times of the day we have to send emails. All that data is out there, but you have to build the program, have the infrastructure in place to take advantage of it. And that's the way to accelerate growth, right? That's the strategy, the IP that we bring. And to be able to bring that into your company, you want to get on the fast curve, we'll put you on it, but you got to follow it, right? You got to follow it and be committed to it. But yeah, so that's like some of the other fun stuff that we get to do from a process standpoint, coming in and building playbooks and playbooks is more than just a playbook for the team. It's an opportunity to onboard your new hires. It's like, hey, I've got everything put together. Here it is, new hire coming in. Great. Take a look at this. And it makes life easier across the board. And that's another thing that we like to bring to the table with our sales clients and so
wow
forth.
And what a nice way to really attract top talent to your company. You want the top sales talent, show them something like that, like, oh yeah, I want that.
Right, exactly.
The good ones are going to know.
That's right, especially when you show them how you've mapped the content. Like our marketing department's done a great job building this content library, and we have it mapped to every stage of the process, right? And sales teams love that because typically they get, here you go, here's all of our content, and they don't know when to use it. They find one that becomes their favorite, and that's their go-to, right? And you have to.
And it's not always the right one.
That's right. It's usually not the right one.
Oh, that's great.
But
this was great. This was a lot of great and valuable stuff for our folks out there listening. So for our listeners, can you let us know where the best place to find, Maven is and where the best place to find you may be? Absolutely.
Well, best place obviously is on the web. You can find us at mavensalesgroup.com. That's MAVEN salesgroup.com. You can certainly reach out to me. You can call me in my office at any time. You can reach me here at 406-7281. That's right to my desk.
It's a Maryland. It's a Maryland
That's
area
right.
code.
Maryland
I'm
area
from
code.
Maryland. I miss it. I'm in Florida now, but you know what? I always love hearing that 410 because my cell phone is still 410.
There you go. Beautiful.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, David, we really appreciate you coming in today and filling Mr. Signorelli's shoes. And I'm sure he'll be thrilled once he surfaces from Asia to hear that you've been on, since I know you guys have a good relationship.
Absolutely. That's great. Well, Lindsay, thank you so much for having me.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for listening. Hop over into iTunes if you love this and give us 5 stars. If you have any questions for me, you can always hit me up on the Twitters at LV Kelly. And folks, until next time, keep the conversation going.
Keep talking.
You've been listening to the Yin and Yang Show, a marketing and sales conversation with Lindsay Kelly and Brian Signorelli. Join us online at yinandyang.fm.